Welcome to the Paisycord podcast. Thank you all for joining us. It was a bit of a sloppy start there, but it happens, I guess. One in a million, right? Actually, no, that's the second time that's happened now. Today, I'm joined by a regular podcast guest. You know him. He's a hacker man. He hacks a Switch, and I'm pretty sure it's illegal. Nintendo's probably going to dox him or something. We have Floating Pluto. Say hi, Pluto.
Good afternoon, everyone.
And also joining me, very special guest from Foxcord, owner of Foxcord. He's been talking with us in our JMU chat for the week. We have Gale.
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
That is Gale McLeod, right, on your socials?
Yep,
I
on
was
both
sure
Twitter and
to,
Twitch.
yeah, I was sure to grab your socials, and we're gonna have them at the end of the show. But
Awesome.
yeah, Gale's also gonna be streaming the crew battle for us tomorrow. So look forward to that, everybody. Um,
hmm
I'd also like to say, I mean, I just heard a couple little pings in my ear. Thank you, people. Thank you, anyone who's following. That's pretty neat. Um, I usually try not to like address it during the show because I feel like when we're talking, I don't want to cut people off and say, "Oh my God, thank you so much for following." But I'll address it now, I guess. So thank you, everybody. But that being said, we're here to discuss the happenings of the week, right? We've had our JMU with Foxcord this week. We've been talking. We've had all sorts of like great conversation so far about neutral and all sorts of advantage state and stuff. It's a pretty neat matchup, I think. I mean, a lot of people have asked us about this one in our own meta channels because they struggle against like rushdown characters, and Fox is very high pressure kind of character. I kind of made a joke earlier in the week that I don't think really. I think it went over people's head where I said, "Oh, Fox being a rushdown character when he's not really that rush down. He's more pressure based. Maybe not necessarily as bait and punish as Peach and Daisy is, but don't know that I call him like necessarily super aggro, even though he seems that way.
Yeah, it's a common misconception people
Yeah,
have.
I think that's
Most
that's
people,
that's a
oh, sorry.
misconception people have about like so many characters in this game, just because like oh when you see someone pushing in, that's aggression, but like you're supposed to do that at some point with every character. So,
hmm
do you have any insights on on the Fox side of that? I did just cut you off.
What I was going to say is most people think Fox is super rushed down, like you were saying, but he just mostly wants to just threaten as opposed to actually going in for most of the things that he gets. He
Yeah,
wants to
no,
be waiting like just outside your burst range and to like then go in on you as soon as he sees the slight opening. He'll want to wait for a commitment before going in and doing anything himself.
yeah,
So
that's also how Peach goes all the time. It's like it's maybe like not necessarily as like as hard as Fox. Like Fox is so fast that he's just like he's constantly doing something. But
mhm.
Peach is definitely very much like that, just like the bait and punish style. I've also noticed that. Oh, you know what? I mentioned the joke that I made, but the joke was I think it was Aquatic who said, "Oh yeah, no, like when if you pick this stage against Fox, I think it was Kalos, you get to a point where like he can just hard camp you." And then we said, "Okay, well, what do you mean by camping?" Because I mean, when I hear Fox camping, it's like, okay, are you gonna like sit across stage and shoot laser at me? Because that's not really a big deal. And he was like, "No, it's more like you're just outside of their threat range, and like you're not throwing any hitboxes, you're not making any commitments, and you're kind of like making them do it." And we were just like, that's literally how you play the game. That's not even camping. That's just like playing defensively. That's how you play Peach. Like, what are you talking about? And then the joke I made was like, you know what? It makes sense that a character like Fox would look at that kind of gameplay and see that as camping, because it's like just slightly slower, you're instantly camping. Because like if you're not pushing the aggression, wow, well, look at this campy Fox over here.
I see.
With that being said, though, let's walk through like just uh, the daily progression that we've had in our JMU. Um, our first day was neutral. We talked about neutral. We talked about how for Peach, the idea is you want to wall out Fox in neutral because like we've just said he tends to be really like aggressive and fast and he's always trying to push your buttons. Uh, and the idea for Peach is you want to play really grounded and defensive. So like it's not really the kind of matchup where you can pull turnips because Fox is just so fast, you know. But you want to use your ground float aerials to like punish an approach or something, you know, stuff out his rushing in. And I mean, the big thing with Fox is like you said, right, is pressure. So like he wants you to shield, because as soon as you shield, that's when Fox kind of like goes off and he does whatever he wants, you know.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what Fox likes to do on shield? Like, what are you gonna mash on my shield?
Generally, it'll be Nair, because if I do it perfectly with a strong hit very close to the ground, it is -3.
Right.
It is very hard for most people to punish. And alternatively, if I want something that's more spaced, I can do strong hit back air at a spaced point, and there's basically nothing you can do about it. It would be -4, and it's too far away for you to get anything out of shield.
And then what else does
Also, because
Fox?
I
What else does
oh
Fox
sorry,
have on shield?
those are the two main ones. Everything else he would get off shield, it would be from like mix-ups. So another thing I personally like to do, I like to do cross-up auto cancel down air. So it would be like -6 on shield, and you don't know which side of you I'm going to land on. But Peach is one of those characters with an out of shield option that could cover it. I think because her back air would cover if I landed behind her, and her grab could probably cover if I landed in front.
Right.
So
Yeah, I was even gonna mention down air. Down air seems like it's also one of your like on shield mix-ups. And the reason I ask is because like it seems so oppressive. It's Fox's shield pressure. But why don't you go ahead and tell us the secret, the one trick that doctors don't want you to know about dealing with Fox shield pressure? I mean, I know what it is.
honestly,
I think you're just gonna say it right now. Go ahead.
yeah, I think the real answer to dealing with Fox's shield pressure is just knowing when he is and isn't safe. Especially with the fact that Fox has to be very precise with how he does these things. Because, like I mentioned, it can be -3, Nair can be -3 on your shield if you do the strong hit and land on the very next frame. That's what makes it safe. Most Foxes can't always do that. What they end up doing is hitting your sour hit, is hitting the sour hit of Nair on like the topper part of your shield, or they don't perfectly space their aerial or something. And because of that, Fox doesn't have the best range in the game. So because he's not hitting your shield at just the right spacing, he's going to end up getting punished or something for that. You have to just be very careful and patient and keep an eye on exactly how the Fox does their shield pressure. Because then you can weave around it or counterplay him for messing up by punishing him for it and all that. It demands so much precision that like the slightest mistake can screw it up. So
What do you
patience is your
do?
friend.
What do you do if your shield gets nared?
If your shield gets nared, like I said, it depends how it gets nared. If he does the
I
sour
was
hit
just
at the
gonna
top, you can.
say you just hold shield. You just
Mm,
because the best way to deal with, at least I find, with like
mhm.
safe shield pressure in this game is you just keep holding shield and you wait for what they do next, because everyone's gonna mash another option, because like you've just done your safe option and
Right.
now okay, if they you want them to act out of shield so that you can punish it because it was safe, so now you get frame advantage. So the
Mhm.
idea is, what are they going to do next? So like the classic Fox thing, I feel like, is nair jab, because jab is fast and it's going to beat everything.
Yeah.
And if you just shield that jab, you're not going to be punishing the nair, but you are going to be punishing the jab.
Right. But here's the thing. Most better foxes will already be aware of that little secret to the point that they're just gonna like mix up with what they do next all the time. They'll either just dash back, keep their space on, and let you hold shield to let your shield further decrease before continuing the pressure, or they'll just continue the pressure outright. Like it'll be the rock paper scissors mix up. Will we continue to mash? Will we throw in the mix up to not mash? Will we just retreat? Or will we just grab? Because
Right.
Fox can do nair to grab as well.
Yeah, no,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That the rock paper scissors on shield is always what it comes down to when it comes to shield pressure, is like when you know all of the ideas and the strats that go behind it, it just comes down to rock paper scissors. It's like, is he gonna hit another attack? I'm just gonna hold shield. Is he gonna grab? I should spot dodge. Uh, and that's where you get into, really the depth of any Fox matchup, I guess, because like that's just shield pressure is just such a big part of the Fox matchup.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And then as far as like regular old neutral goes, why don't you tell us, because like rather than putting into my own words, why don't you put into your own words and tell us like what is Fox generally doing in neutral? Because I mentioned that he likes to like he plays high pressure, and we talked about
Mm-hmm.
how he wants to play outside of your threat range. But like, how does he manage that? How does he manage that situation?
Fox mostly manages it by abusing his incredible fall speed. Usually, when I want to mix up my opponent to create an opening, I want to abuse my incredibly fast short hop, because Fox can just short hop and land in front of you immediately, and you literally cannot punish him for doing it. It is mostly a commit. It is not really a commitment. I'm sorry, and because of that, Fox can mix up with how he'll approach you, be it either from the air or from the ground. And most characters just don't have the tools to immediately cover both of them, you know? So
Right.
Fox gets to play this neutral mix-up game to like make you kind of guess which one to cover, and then he'll just double cross you to get like the opening, you know?
Yeah. One of the fun things you mentioned, like not being able to cover that short hop and the grounded stuff. One of the things I like
Mm-hmm.
suggesting to people in our Discord is like, just use your F smash. Like, dude, the Peach Golf Club, it's massive. It's a full on sword. It might as well just be Ganondorf F smash. It's so big.
Wow.
Yeah, no, like it'll catch people way above you in the air. It catches like below ledge. It'll two frame. Yeah, no, Golf Club is the Peach Sword. You can use it in many situations, including neutral, when people are trying to move around just outside your threat
Mm-hmm.
range, because it's such a huge threat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people will be like, I can't handle Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff keeps like walling me. I just can't get in. It's like, oh, just F smash. Like, that character has no disjoints. You can just throw a golf club at that Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff is one matchup. You can just play F smash against Jigglypuff and you're gonna win because Jigglypuff can't do anything about it.
That's hilarious.
Like it's
That goes the
laughable.
same thing for back air because of like back air is a move like F smash where it's pretty disjointed. You can tell it's disjointed and like it's really big and it's super fast. So, avoiding pressure, having Fox not being able to get in, you could just spam back air. Like, what is he gonna do? It's pretty much a sword.
Yeah, no, back airs, Peach's back air is also really good. It's like it's not as disjointed as it seems. It's got a little bit of disjoint, but the fact that you can move around while you do it greatly extends like its horizontal range as well as how safe you can make it. Because it's like if you're in shield here and I back air and I just go boop, just that tiny bit, it becomes a lot safer. Is like it lets you avoid a lot of out of shield options just because of that. Just because of the movement alone. Like being able to space something slightly further than usual, that's just so good when you're doing shield pressure. Peach has really good shield pressure too,
Oh,
especially with like
absolutely.
neutral air. That neutral air is -2 if you do it right, and
Mm-hmm.
jab is frame 2. So like the constant thing that like I personally have done ever since I've started playing Peach, just for years now, is I'll just jab and neutral air jab because it's like if you hit any button, you're gonna get hit by the jab. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's not even the hardest punish. It's just works.
Yeah.
Of course, but then you have characters like Samus and Game and Watch who have up Bs that like just don't care. Like the Samus up B is like intangible on frame 2. I think it's intangible on frame 3, and then hitbox is on frame 4. It's like, yeah, you're just not
Hmm.
beating that. You can't do anything about that. And then
Yeah.
that's when the counterplay is you go onto Twitter and you at Masahiro Sakurai, and then you yell at him for programming the game that you love in a way that you don't like. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't really work with the match. It doesn't help you like beat the up B out of shield, but it makes you feel better. So
That's
that's
all that
usually what I
matters, right?
recommend. That's usually what I suggest is like, oh, if like you don't like something in the game, just be really toxic about it on Twitter, and it makes you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually like a pro level strat. You don't really hear very often. Like uh oh, who was it? Was it Zenyu, who's just so notorious for always going on
Yeah.
Twitter and just blasting like whatever main he's pissed off at the time.
Yeah. There's been memes where he just throws a dartboard or like
Yeah,
throws darts on a board to
exactly.
pick a character.
It's really funny. It's really funny. It's just so toxic. I have no idea why he does that. I don't know like what goes on in people's heads that they're just like, I'm gonna go and complain about this on Twitter and I'm gonna be really mad and I'm gonna call a bunch of people degenerate for no reason. But it's just so
It's
funny to
just the
see.
salt.
It's so fun. Yeah, the salt. Like everyone knows the salt in Smash. Just it's always been there, you know. I remember it was K9. K9 S Bruce in Smash 4 was like the king of salt. There were whole
Hmm.
compilations of him just flipping out, throwing a chair, screaming at the monitor, and the guy beside him is just like, "All right, GG's."
Yeah.
Oh, there was the one clip where the guy's just like this, and he walks away and he leaves him hanging, and he's just like, he pounds at himself. Oh man,
Yeah.
I think
Probably
we've
the best
covered.
salter in Smash history. Oh, I dropped my mic. Yeah, but the best salter in Smash history is definitely goes to K9.
Oh yeah, for
He's really
sure.
funny
Yeah,
when it comes to Smash Salt at least.
I think we've covered neutral pretty well. Because it's
Hmm.
actually like neutral in this matchup is really basic. It's like Fox is doing pressure, Peach is trying to wall him out. Peach is just playing grounded and keeping him out. And
Mm-hmm.
every time Peach does that, she gets a hit. And every time Fox, I don't know, fakes something out, he gets a hit. And then it's
Mm-hmm.
that person's turn. Like, oh, now Fox has his combo. Or, oh, now Peach has
Yeah.
her combo. And then that's how you get your damage, you know? So the
Funny
neutral,
enough,
go ahead, yeah.
I actually think neutral's a lot more critical in this matchup than in pretty much any other Fox matchup, I'd say.
I would agree, just because like I really oversimplified it there. But yes, because it's a really tense neutral. Like
Mm-hmm.
one person is saying don't touch me, and the other person says I'm gonna touch you.
They both have very good options and answers to the other's game plans.
Yeah, no, it's definitely dynamic. But
Mm-hmm.
boiling it down, it's very simple. But obviously,
Yeah.
like mix ups are always a thing. Like you can always mix up. They're probably like the most important thing in Smash that I think a lot
Mm-hmm.
of low level players don't really utilize to the best of their ability, just because like they don't really know, is like
Yeah.
doing something different instead of doing the same thing again and again that you know works.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the type of thing that only
Especially,
really comes with experience. Go ahead.
yeah. Especially for you guys as Peach, you guys have many options for so many mix-ups because unlike Fox and unlike most of the characters, you guys have aerials that are completely safe or that you can make them safer with your float. So that affords you so many other mix-ups when it comes to things like shield pressure and how you press advantage as well as neutral, at least from my perspective.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. Especially like just the fact that she can do ground float aerials is like you can do all of your aerials on the ground. Like it expands your move set so much.
Mm-hmm.
One of the funny things that people have done in our Discord is they'll play a different character. Actually, this was a big thing on Twitter too. They'll just use the Tanuki leaf, so it gives them float. So it'll be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, we'll use float Fox, and it's like, what can we do? Oh, we can do 8 back airs in a row, and it just makes you realize, wow, this float mechanic is so busted. If Peach didn't have it, she'd be mid tier as fuck. And if any other character had it, they'd be incredibly broken. Like you could give float to Ganondorf, and he would start winning. He'd start winning tournaments.
Oh yeah. I've seen fan mods that actually do give Ganondorf float because the logic is that he did it in Ocarina of Time in the final battle with Link. So why can't he just have it? And then you see them just up air, up air, up air, up air, and you just
Yeah,
don't have an answer.
yeah. That being said, let's talk about advantage and disadvantage. I think in the Discord it goes Fox advantage first, Paisley disadvantage for the Tuesday. So let's do that. Like as far as Fox being an advantage goes, like I think it's mostly the really risky spots are ledge trapping and juggles, right? Because
Between the two, I'd say you should definitely be like if you can avoid it, you would want to avoid a juggle situation more.
mhm.
Because ledge pressure, while Fox is still very good at it, I'd say his juggle pressure is even better, especially against Peach because she doesn't seem to have the best landing options.
So that's actually something a lot of people tend to be like. They'll instantly be like, "Oh, floaty character, she's gonna have trouble landing." But the fact that she has that float mechanic, she actually like it unlocks a lot of new options she has for landing. I don't think they're necessarily as useful against Fox as a lot of other characters because he's just so fast. His fall speed is insane. So like, while he throws out one up air, he can throw another one up out again, just like so fast. But the thing that a lot of peaches that I suggest for a lot of peaches is like if you're falling and they're coming up at you, you can just do a double jump and float just outside of their range, and then when they whiff their aerial, you just fast fall air dodge and you've landed for free. Like just being able to use float to move around while you're juggling, because every jump, every option when they're trying to chase you is a commitment. Uh, it basically puts the ball in your court now. Is like now you're reacting to them and you're able to play around their aggression, which is exactly like how you should be doing like edge guarding. It's like if you're on stage and you're trying to edge guard the opponent, you're watching them for like, do they go high, do they go low? It's the exact same kind of scenario. So it's like even when you're off stage, you're watching, is my opponent going to come off stage against me? Are they going high? Are they going low? And then you're going to react to that. It unlocks that same thought process when you're being juggled. But like I said, I don't really think that's all that applicable for Fox because he's just so fast. Because like
Yeah.
if he's going to throw an up air, he's going to do a full hop up air. He can do it again in no time at all.
Hmm.
It's like you can try to the fast fall and air dodge, but he's able to frame trap it so easily.
Yeah. That's actually one of my favorite things to cover is when I'm juggling somebody, after I know that my next up air is not going to be true, instead of overcommitting by going for the up air, full hop or double jump, by the way, I instead what I'll do is I'll wait a little bit and I'll short hop it because I can do that completely non-committal. Then I can fast fall, see what happens. In your case, if you tried to float to just whiff out my up air, I'll just do the short hop version and I won't reach you. There's no way I would reach you unless you didn't do that float. But because you did the float, I'm already down on the ground. You're going to land on with an air dodge. I can either dash attack to put you back up in the air, or I can grab or whatever, shark the landing however I'm allowed to. If there's like plats or anything.
Yeah, exactly. And also, up smash is always just an ever-present threat in this matchup, especially for trying to land.
Mm-hmm. I love stuffing up buttons with it.
Yeah. How would you suggest getting out of a juggle situation against Fox? Because I mean, there's the obvious, like, if you really have to, just go to ledge, But
Yes.
are there any other
That's actually
options?
that's what I would recommend immediately
Right.
because you have float. Even if I get a juggle on you in center stage, as soon as my next up air stops being true, I have to wait for whatever landing option you choose. And
Mhm.
if you wanted to, you could honestly just double jump, float all the way off stage where Fox cannot follow you, then run or just like try to land a grab ledge.
Which of course leads to ledge trapping, which is another really good opportunity for Fox. But you said that's not
Mhm.
necessarily like you said the juggle's much worse. Like how would you quantify that, I guess?
I would say it's much worse because Fox's juggles are just far more consistent, whereas at ledge he has to play a more reaction based game. Like it's still very strong. He still can do it, and he's still very effective with it. I just think his juggles are both easier and more effective. That's all.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean the juggles are basically free. Like
Hmm.
we were just talking about how great they are. Whereas with ledge trapping, exactly like you said, is he has to now react and he has to play around the opponent a bit more because they have
Hmm.
the option to press buttons now.
Yeah. Also, I feel like Peach at ledge has more options than most characters would. I
You
try to
would be
stuff her out
correct.
with like yeah, I try to stuff her out preemptively with things like Nair or like back air to try to cover a jump or something. I try to space myself casually at roll distance, and the Peach just has answers because she can double jump, float, air dodge down, and grab me if I'm holding shield. She can jump off ledge forward air. I mean, I'm sure I don't have to tell you guys all of Peach's answers, but those are the main ones I've learned.
We do have foxes in chat. Like we got Stormy in chat here. He's talking about he's cracking wise. He's like, Gale, watch me going off stage to up air Peach. Uh,
Oh yeah, she does that.
but yeah, no, I mean it's definitely worth talking about the Peach options because we do have it's for a JMU. So obviously this is the kind of resource that we want for everybody, right? Both foxes
Hmm.
and the Peaches. But yeah, no, like when Peach is stuck on the ledge, she does have few more options to say the least than most of the cast just because of float. So like she can jump and then jump cancel fast fall and just land right away. It's about as safe as a neutral getup. Like if you're covering neutral getup, you'll cover that, but it's fast and it lets you like grab or something like right away if you want to. It opens up these new options. I think it's also a bit less laggy than the neutral getup, but it doesn't have invulnerability, which kind of sucks. But of course, there's the classic that you just drop and then come back with forward air, which catches a lot of people off guard because forward air is just such a huge hitbox. And then of course there's the tried and true universal options. You have roll, a get up attack, neutral get up, and jump, which are obviously like they're all situational. I find personally that for some reason, I know it's not the best option, but I always default to roll when someone's pressuring at the ledge, just because it's like, well, if you're over here, you're not over here, you know. But I think jump is usually the option most people can just spam for free, but you really can't do that against Fox
Nope.
because he's got that wicked back air.
It works wonders.
Yeah,
Personally, my favorite option to cover though is roll instead of jump because
yeah,
I
I can
think
see,
I
I can
think
see
Tweak was the
why.
one who said this. He said if your opponent gets away with the roll get up, now they have stage control. If they get away with like a jump or a neutral or something and you didn't punish it, well, they're still trapped at ledge. Which situation is worse, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine the reason why foxes might want to cover roll specifically is because tech chases, like you can just get a weak hit of nair or something, and from that roll distance, now you've just sent them back into the corner, and they have to tech somewhere into the corner. It's either, and it just limits their options so much. It's like all you can do is tech in place, If you roll back, you're still teched in place basically, or roll in.
Mhm.
So it makes that situation, that tech situation, much easier to read.
Oh yeah.
Let me see. Is there anything else we're neglecting here? We didn't talk about edge guarding. So I understand that Fox isn't really keen on going off stage, right?
No. It's definitely always an overextension on the Fox's part if he tries it. But I will say that Peach is surprisingly one of the characters that can get gimped by shine spiking.
What do you
I
mean one of?
originally
Is that not a
Hmm.
common thing?
It's common, but not as common as you may think, because shine spiking it sends far, but usually if a character just has a jump or if they have a far enough diagonal up B, it doesn't always kill if they're
Right.
like already kind of close to ledge. But it surprised me when I found out that Peach, despite going diagonally upwards with Parasol, she actually doesn't go high enough, and she actually will get gimped by it.
I
So,
see. I
yeah.
remember playing Fox. I messed with Fox a bit when the game came out for like a couple weeks, and I only ever wanted to shine spike people just because shine spikes like it's just so fun. It's funny to get a shine
Hmm.
spike.
Yeah.
But
Would you say it's like useful to go shine spiking for peaches or like for a peach because like you know how like peaches up B goes past the ledge and if you get nicked by that you kind of just catching a nair for there.
Hmm. Honestly, I wouldn't ever really want to commit with it because I feel like Peach has a lot of recovery mix-ups on
yeah,
top of having a Parasol that I would not want to challenge.
I will say, yeah, no, you're right. You don't want to challenge Parasol, but probably the good thing about Shine is you have invulnerability on frame two. So like as soon as that move it has been inputted, you're kind of
Hmm.
safe for a very brief moment. So it does seem
Yeah.
like you could probably challenge Parasol with that, but it would definitely be a commitment.
The thing about Shine is that the hitbox is very small. It's literally only on Fox's body. So, or like a little bit around Fox's body, I should say.
Right.
But I wouldn't go challenging like a disjoint from underneath you with it or anything because the invulnerability is only on frame 2 to 3 with the hitbox active on frame 3.
Hmm.
So, yeah, you'd pretty much have to already be like inside them to get it. And Peach is gonna do it from underneath you. So, eh.
But on the other hand, if you land it, it's really funny. It's really funny edge guard,
Yeah.
and that
I
makes it
just feel like
worth it.
it'd
And
be.
that's why you should do it every time.
Most
Please
likely peach
don't.
will die too.
Yeah, no, really. That's the Twitter clip mentality. It's like, is it cool? Do it. That's it. That's all that matters.
Uh,
Do it for the Vine.
yeah, just do it. Doesn't matter. Throw your stock away.
Yeah. As far as like reversing the situation, we talk about Peach advantage. Fox is hard to juggle. He's too
Mm,
fast. He's too fast to juggle. Although, like, he's kind of in a weird spot with the fast fall lightweight character. So it's like
mm-hmm.
when it comes to juggling him, he's gonna fall through you a lot more often than most characters. But at the same time, as you're hitting him, you're gonna be able to get a lot more off of it too, just because he's a lightweight and he falls into your attacks too.
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell us about that? Like about any tricks about like juggling Fox?
I would say instead of trying to juggle him vertically, try to juggle him more horizontally, if that makes sense. So, for example, Peach down tilt will send at like at a nice vertical angle at lower percents, and then instead of going for like down tilt or down tilt grab, down throw back air, or anything off of like up throw or whatever, instead of trying to send him more vertically in like a traditional sense of a juggle, you want to keep sending him horizontally across the stage. And as soon as you get the chance, try to end it soon with like a fair
Hmm.
or some strong move that will send horizontally, because Fox has very bad horizontal air drift.
We
It's the price he pays for his fall speed.
Right. We did talk in the JMU discussions about edge guarding Fox. That's kind of when he's at his most vulnerable, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So you did not wasn't we didn't just I said juggling, but you more so covered like just general combo, like the classic Peach combo, down tilt and airs and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I guess what we could take from that is when you are juggling Fox, if you caught him in two or three up airs, it's a good idea, if you at all can, is send him off stage instead of keep going for the vertical, right?
Mm-hmm.
So definitely, like, it'd probably be a good idea to end that juggle a bit earlier if you can get a fair. Like, if you can confirm it to fair, that's probably the better course of action.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, or even
that's a
like
good
doing
insight.
a bread and butter like a nair down tilt, nair back air, just to send him off stage. That is a easy way, probably the easiest way of getting
Yeah.
a horizontal juggle.
Yeah, it's like
Mm-hmm.
finishing those combos early instead of going for like maximum damage and doing your down throw back air. Just send them off stage. It's definitely one of those matchups.
Yeah.
I find with Fox off stage, something I like to do is if he's high, I like to watch out for the side B, which you can like if you see it start, you can react to it very easily, and you're like obviously Peach, you're gonna hit it with forward air, but he can cancel it, right?
Not in the sense you think. When you say
Well, I
cancel,
mean
that
when
makes
I
me
say
think.
that, I mean like he can side B and he can go pew, right, or he can side B and then he goes bit, and that's it.
Mm,
It's
not
more like
quite.
drifting is side B.
Yeah, that'd be more accurate. He
Yeah,
drifts very far to the left or to the right, depending on what direction he's holding after. It doesn't
right.
actually shorten the distance. He always goes the same horizontal distance
Gotcha.
after it.
I
Yeah.
see. But that's still a good
But
option to try to call out, right?
yes and no. For you guys, because you're Peach, I don't feel like your initial jumps off stage really go that high. When I'm Fox and I'm trying to side B high, I'm gonna do it when I'm like near at the top of the blast zone. So that way it's impossible for you to cover just because I don't want to deal with an edge guard situation off stage. I'd rather do it when I'm like trying to land on stage above you. Maybe I'll fast fall neutral air dodge, maybe I'll shine stall, whatever the mix up would be. But I would only want to side B at that point when I know you're not gonna be in range to try to cover it with like a forward air.
Right. That's the classic snake tactic where it's like
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna try to edge guard me, but instead I'm just gonna go way up into the sky, and then I'm not at the edge, and you can't edge guard me.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
that'd be the situation I recommend using side beyond.
Right.
Because if you're gonna like, you could alternatively still try to do it as a mix up to do it low or something like. Because any good player will mix up if they recover high or low most of the time. But that'd be how I'd recommend using it
What about like side B to ledge? Is side B to ledge a good option for Fox?
as a mix up. Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell you that for Peach, a lot of Peach players will side B to ledge just because if you angle it right, you'll snap to the ledge. But if you
Mm-hmm.
don't angle it right, you're not going to snap ledge. You're going to land on the stage and you're going to get hit or something, or you're going to fall under and potentially die if you don't like have any resources. But yeah, no, that's also something to watch out for with Peach is side B to ledge.
Mm-hmm.
I find personally with Fox is it's a lot harder to edge guard him than you might think, just because he's got that fast fall speed. So it's like his positioning is kind of hard to get a read on at any given time, even if I'm just chucking turnips out there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but his up B is really the part you want to punish because like as soon as he up Bs, he's gonna make it back to ledge because that thing's got crazy range. Like it goes so far for no reason. It goes way farther than like Falcos and Wolves. Like those guys, their up B is baby styles. But Fox's up B goes far. But we talked in the discussion. We talked about how you can use back air to kind of just cheese it as Peach. It's like there was a clip someone shared where Peach was just like floating at ledge. I think it was Samsora versus ZD. Can't remember which tournament. It's pinned, I think. I think it's pinned. It's in the chat, but she just floats right below ledge, and then as he tries to recover, she just back airs, and he just has to deal with it. And she can just hold float and keep hitting him with back air, racking up damage as he's trying to recover. Because it's just a really exploitable straight vertical movement option, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I do understand though, like Fox also has the ability because it travels so far, he can delay it. I feel like if in that kind of situation, it's probably in his like we even talked about it. It's in his best interest to like delay it as much as you can because it
Yeah.
burns her float. So that way she can't do it as many times. She has to reset the stage before she get her float back.
Mm-hmm. Any
How,
mix up Fox can do is always a good one. With a recovery that linear, if you have a mix up, I suggest employing it.
yeah. How would you suggest, other than that specific circumstance, how would you suggest you would edgeguard Fox?
There's a very, very obvious one, and I've heard good and bad things about it from Peach players. I'm sure you guys have your reasons for as to why you hate it. Use Toad.
Toad, yeah.
Use Toad.
Yeah, we also saw
Literally,
clips of that too.
yes. Fox's up B is kind of special because after he starts moving, for the first 4 frames that he starts moving, he has a very strong hit. Then after that, he has a later hit that he goes with for the rest of the difference. Most people will hit the later hit when they counter him, and that later hit if you get countered by it, I mean, it's still a bad situation, but it's not going to kill. If
Mhm.
you counter the strong hit, Fox will die at 30.
The thing
I'm
with
not exaggerating.
Well,
Peach's
yeah, that's
counter,
with like normal counters though, because ours don't have has a multiplier. So I mean, it doesn't
yeah,
really matter what we hit.
yeah, Peach's counter is kind of special in the sense that it'll always do a flat like 25% or something. I don't know, probably like
Mm-hmm.
minus a couple percents. And it'll always do like the same set, not same the same knockback. It won't be any extra growth. It doesn't matter how strong the hit is that hit it, that activated it. It's just
Oh,
same hit every time. But it is still a
did not know
pretty
that.
strong counter on its own. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, no, like that's going to be killing Fox pretty early, especially because he's the lightweight. I think
Absolutely.
the way that we saw was Mute Ace was using Ledge Slip Toad, and it made it so that the counter sent Fox into the blast zone every single time.
Yeah. From what I've understood from getting hit by it, Peach's counter is just like Joker's, where it will almost always autocorrect to send me towards the blast zone, regardless
Really.
of which side I hit you on. I'm not sure why that property's there, but it is.
Yeah, she has weird rules on if she turns around or not.
Mhm.
I couldn't honestly tell you why at any given time she chooses to turn the wrong way. She just does it sometimes. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but I mean, it's definitely the type of thing that you can have. It can work consistently against
I
Fox.
am definitely. I think it's definitely something that you should do if the fox ever chooses to go low. Because this is why I said Fox should try what Snake does, where he just goes high and chooses to avoid the edge guard situation entirely. Because if the Peach catches your mix up with side B to ledge, and you have to recover low, you're essentially screwed. You don't have any options at that point. If you don't have a jump, and she has covered all your higher possible options, you have to up B, and this is a character with a fixed knockback counter that can kill you at very early percents. That's not something a character with a linear recovery should ever want to deal with.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That being said, ledge trapping. Does Fox have any neat little tricks to get off of ledger or what?
Unfortunately, not really. He
Hmm.
mostly just has the traditional options.
Yeah, but I imagine ledge jump would be pretty solid for him though,
Mm-hmm.
just because his
Fox, yeah.
attributes.
When jumping off of ledge, one thing Fox can do that I don't see enough of them do is they could drop ledge, immediately double jump and forward air. Because forward air I wouldn't really call it a disjoint, but it's a difficult hitbox to mess with.
Right.
Because it's multi-hit and you're rising very far with it.
Yeah. No.
Now,
It's also
oh,
not
sorry.
even necessarily that it's a disjoint. It's just the fact that it sticks out so far in front of him. Even though it's not disjointed, it's got the
Hmm.
range. You know.
Yeah. But just as a neat little thing, whenever Fox double jumps and forwarders, he gains some extra height off of it. So, for example, on Battlefield, you can go from ledge to the platform.
Interesting.
Hmm.
That's pretty neat
Hmm.
little. A neat
Yeah, I did
little.
not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the type
So
of thing that stuff's all over the place in Ultimate. It's just like niche little mechanics and like interactions like that.
hmm
It's pretty neat though. Um,
yeah.
that being said, I think the only topic left we have to cover from the JMU from the Discord is stage picks, and
hmm
from what I understand, both of these characters like they're generally good on most stages. Like there's not really any circumstance where like you definitely don't want to go on this stage, except for a lot of Peach players who really hate slopes because
hmm
as soon as you have slopes, it messes up float. Uh, like you'll see it all over the place where like especially lower level players will try to do a float cancel aerial into the stage, but they just land. It just automatically makes you land, and then they get punished for it super easily because slopes suck. But
hmm
I've been saying this for the longest time. If you just practice on slopes, you just practice your aerials on slopes, it stops happening because like just don't go into the slope and you're fine. You can do your aerials. I always say it, but nobody wants to listen. No, you never have any Peach players who want to learn how to do the slope stuff. They just want to complain about it. And then they ban
Yeah.
Yosh and they ban Lilat. And then the problem with that is now you're giving the opponent like free stage pick basically because you'd probably just ban two stages. They might not even want to go on themselves.
hmm
It's kind of a
Funny enough, I would say Fox would absolutely want to go to Lilat in this matchup.
oh yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people underrate Lilat as just this stage with slopes that messes up this or that. I don't like it, but not Fox. He's more than adaptable to make it work. the fact the stage doesn't have walls means Fox can ride angles very well. So, like, if you were ever going to try to use Toad or anything off stage to just try to edge guard me low, then I can just ride the stage. I can mix up where I go to for ledge and potentially avoid it.
Right.
More than that, the fact is it still has a tri-plat layout. And as an added bonus, on the side platforms, Fox's up smash will actually hit above the platforms if he does it from below.
I think that came up in our discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
I'm guessing that's like the flat stage part and not like the slopes.
No, that's actually like the part where the slopes come up. So like on the sides, when the
Yeah,
slopes
so
end, they have like these two little rotor engine things. You've seen
they're
maybe you've seen them
slightly
as
elevated.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a slight rise on those on that part. Up smash will hit.
Not to
Okay.
mention the fact that those platforms are sloped as well. So like on the right
Mhm.
side, you're closer to the stage.
Yes.
What about
Honestly,
Yosh? Because we've heard that
it's a,
Lilat's pretty good, but what about Yoshi's?
it's in a similar vein for similar reasons, I think. I would prefer Lilat to Yoshi's, personally, because I would want to not have walls, and I like the fact that the slopes are longer, so they play more of a factor. With Yoshi's, the slopes are just angled low enough to like where they don't really benefit me that well. And they Lilat's doesn't mess me up because if I'm standing in the corner and I'm shooting lasers, Fox's lasers will still go through and like right along the bottom of the stage because he like shoots them from just high up enough.
Hmm.
On Yoshi's, it doesn't really matter because like yeah, that'll still be the case, but I can't crouch under things if I'm standing on the slope, you know?
I
My
think the
crouch
main
doesn't go
thing
that low.
I think the main thing to think about when it comes to Yosh is the blast zones, really. Because like the horizontal blast zones are much shorter than most stages.
Yeah. That's not something that really plays into Fox's favor. While he can kill horizontally, he prefers the vertical ones.
Yeah, that back air is definitely good, but you have up air and up smash, and I feel like up smash is just the bread and butter. That's just every Fox is going for up smash. Like that's how you win. You use up
Yeah,
smash,
that's the main one.
which would mean that you probably want low ceilings.
Yeah, which funny enough, a lot of that has.
Oh, what a coincidence! A stage where it's easy to get up smashes with low ceilings. Great
Yeah.
stage
And
for
with close
Fox.
blast zones, come on, you guys can kill now.
Yeah.
Funny enough,
Uh,
yeah.
I think the best counter pick for Peach in this situation would be just like bigger stages, not even necessarily just the blast zones, but also the general stage itself. You would want it to be a bit
Mm-hmm.
bigger because it gives you like options to run away and such.
Yeah.
Although, how well you can run away from Fox in neutral is kind of up for debate because he's just so
Mm-hmm.
fast.
On that note, though, one stage I personally would want to avoid is Smashville.
Yeah.
Because it's incredibly small. I feel like it limits the amount of movement I can really do. Whether when pressuring or in neutral at all, it doesn't give me enough space to really operate, I feel. So if that's gonna hinder my movement considerably, I would want to avoid it.
Yeah, I find Smashville is one of those stages. It's kind of polarizing because it's like it's a small stage. I think it's like the smallest stage that we have in the list.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, it's just people are concerned about their movement. They're like, you don't want to go there against someone with high pressure because then you feel like you're going to be trapped the whole time. You don't want to go there against someone with projectiles because you're going to feel like, oh, I'm just going to be permanently in disadvantage. It's just a stage that a lot of people almost feels like you just can't win on it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But personally, we actually, one of our tech guys, he isn't really all that active in the Discord anymore, but one of our guys, Dandy Man, he loved Smashville. It was like his favorite stage. Just because he even said like, oh yeah, I just go to Smashville and I just move around. I just JCFF and jump around all the platform and stuff. So you know what? There's definitely the casual like Smashville enjoyers out there
Mm-hmm.
with their chiseled jaws. But I think yeah, no, like I don't really get why it's just such a polarizing stage, you know? Personally, I would like it against projectile characters and like anyone with really long range, just because it's easier to get in on them. Kind of, they have less
Mm-hmm.
stage to work with, especially a character like a Min Min or Sephiroth, where they're trying to play at an optimal set range, and if as you move in, they kind of have to retreat in order to maintain that range. With
Mm-hmm.
a smaller stage, that interaction there is kind of in your favor.
Yeah. They don't have as much room to run away.
Yeah.
Yeah, even with the top platform being super big, you can still run away on that top platform,
Yeah.
and they're still at the ledge. Like, oh, I need you to back away from me, please.
Yeah, no, for sure. Let's see. Are we missing anything? Small battlefield and battlefield. Would there be any preference there for Fox?
Not particularly. I feel like I would treat my opponent the same on either one. The only real difference is that on Battlefield, at 0, I can up throw you and get a tech chase on the top platform.
Right. Pluto
Like,
knows all about up throw on top platform. Pluto labbed that a bunch for us. Up throw
mhm.
has always been Peach's, like widely regarded as Peach's most useless throw, because it's like, why are you using up throw? You have positional throws in forward throw and back throw that'll send people off stage, back throw kills, down throw combos. Why are you using up throw? And then it was Mutace, I think, who did one up throw combo on the top platform, and Pluto was just like,
It was Nuggets.
Nuggets. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, Pluto was just like, I'm on it. And he just labbed it. He instantly labbed this tech chase on the top platform of the triplats.
Hmm.
Um, is there any other use the Fox gets out of that top platform?
Not especially. It's just extra ability to land, extra juggle pressure on the occasion. Like, I have gotten stocks before where I up air them again, then I can land on the platform, refresh my jump, continue the up air strings, and then get a fourth up air at the top that could kill.
Hmm.
That's about the most I can get. But those situations are few and far between.
Does the platform kind of like make up for the fact that the Battlefield's top blast zone is like, I want to say it's the highest in the game, I think?
Is it? I feel like Kalos had that.
Might be Kalos. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
no,
pretty sure
Battlefield's
Kalos
blast
is.
zone is definitely higher than small Battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
So like, does that top platform kind of make up for that?
I wouldn't say so because sure it can give you some advantages at low percents, but I'd say in more matchups than not, it probably would honestly betray Fox because if you think of characters like say Marth or Samus, then they can just up B from underneath the top platform and be perfectly safe because they immediately land on it, and you can't pressure them from there. So
Yeah,
I'd say
no.
in more matchups than not, I'd probably prefer small battlefield as well.
Yeah, I can kind of see that, especially because like that top platform is also the type of thing where some characters do benefit from it, and it just because if your character doesn't, why would you go there? You
Mm-hmm.
know. Let's see.
That
Stormy
does
has a
remind me.
comment. Stormy was just said,
Oh,
just want to say that sometimes we can fare from top plat, and then I like to go for Firefox air dodge read, but that's only a him thing. And honestly, I think hard reads on up B, like when you're close to the top blast zone, super
mm-hmm.
underrated, just generally in Smash. Like I use it all the time with Peach, and I know I've gotten other people on that bandwagon as well, because Parasol will beat so many hitboxes, just beats out so many aerials, and the fact that like it has really good knockback. Like yeah, no, like chasing people with up B is a really big brain play, especially if you like bait out an aerial or an air dodge, because you know everyone's smashing aerials out of hit stun. Like
Mm-hmm.
all you have to do is jump up once, wait for them to throw an aerial, and it's like okay, you're dead now. Congrats, you just
Mm-hmm.
lost your stock, right?
Yeah, that used to be a much bigger thing back in Smash 4 before we had directional air dodges because all you would have is neutral air dodge and you would just air dodge down straight into Fox's up B. And it was a 50-50 situation of either you air dodge into the up B or you just take the up air. And it was a much more like setup based because up air had like better knockback. Dash
Right.
attack had a better setup value for it too. But yeah.
Sounds like it was
In
more
this
of a
game,
niche.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, in this game, it's not as common because directional air dodges kind of screw it over, since they can just air dodge to the side, and then if you didn't position your Firefox well, now you get nothing.
Especially because Firefox is the moment you input it, that's a commitment. You know, like it
Yes,
doesn't come out
that
right
move.
away.
Yeah, it does not come out till frame 45, by the way.
That's pretty.
So that's a
That's
long
wild.
time.
That is a
Yeah.
whole ass second. 30
Mm-hmm.
FPS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely longer than Ganon's up tilt. Like Ultimate Ganon up tilt, probably.
Maybe not that bad, but pretty bad.
I had something on my mind that I was gonna say, but I've completely forgotten it.
Were we going to talk about
I
how
was gonna
FD and
ask
Kalos can
about.
play in?
We will talk about that. I was gonna ask about platform extensions. Does
Mm-hmm.
Fox have anything like I ask knowing the answer that yes, Fox absolutely has
Yes.
setups onto platforms.
Yes.
But let's talk about that for a second.
All right.
So like I
Uh,
understand like dash attack, that'll set
mhm.
up a tech chase, right?
Yes, dash tech can set it up. That's honestly the main one. Down tilt is also very good for it. Fox gets a lot by doing dash attack or down tilt, and then getting you to tech chase on a platform, and then just covering whatever you do with down air.
Right.
Like if he can do um down air fast fall to get the landing hit as well, that sets up into further tech chases, as if you just got tech chased by a landing down air anyway. And then another thing you can do is with Battlefield specifically, if you get it on the top and you like do the down air to get them towards the top, you can hit them with another dash attack to set up for the same scenario again on the top platform, and then you just keep extending over and over. And on certain characters, down air tech chases on platform can even lead to kill, because down air on plat, you can also lead that. It can link into an F smash, by the way, which is
Yeah, we
nice.
saw clips. People posted clips in the chat. They were showing how you could like, oh yeah, you can just here's an F smash on town and city platform just because this person got hit by like one attack, and
Hmm.
and then yeah, no, you just died for it at 60. You know.
Yep. Platform extensions are a very big part of Fox's game.
Right. Um, that being said, what happens when you take away the platforms? How about how's FD? How's FD looking?
FT is one of the most polarizing stages for me personally.
Right.
I've always thought, in theory, it should be good for Fox because you take away the opponent's landing options, you take away their answers to any like mix-ups you may have, and then they just have to deal with you sharking their landing and they can't get out of it. But conversely, now you've lost your disadvantage escape options and you've lost your platform extension combos. I don't know. I feel like it really depends on the matchup.
I think I've seen people say that Fox is really good on FD. I think
Mhm.
just because of his stats, really, and like keeping your opponent in disadvantage is a lot easier on FD when you don't have platforms or anything to retreat to. It's just like it's
I've
harder to deal with that oppressive neutral.
Yeah, I've been thinking the same thing. I've been trying to put that into practice for the longest, but it really depends because I feel like more often than not, FD comes back to bite me in the ass.
I guess when it comes down to is stage picks aren't always as intuitive as you might think. Like you might look at it and say, "Oh yes, there's a very simple answer. Obviously, you want to take this character to this stage for this reason." But like anytime I talk stage picks, like with anyone, or like when we're doing JMUs, and I'm like, "Oh, this seems like a good stage in this matchup." There's always someone saying, "Actually, no, because of this or because of that," on both sides, you know. So
Yeah, there's always that little hidden niche things because, like you said, Ultimate has that all over the place.
yeah, there's always like niche things. There's also just general personal preferences.
Hmm.
Some people hate small stages. Some people hate the big stages. Some people hate flat stages. Which you know what? That's kind of wild to me because I remember in Smash 4, the whole thing was like, oh, you had For Glory where you play online, and it was always FD. How are people not used to the flat stages at this point? How are people hating on FD when it's like, dude, you had so much practice, like in the last
Hmm.
game, and these are people who played both games. It's like, how do you hate FD if you just came from a game where FD was like the standard? Like, what's going on?
It's probably because the engine is so different and movement between the two games feels different for most characters, if I had to guess.
Oh, Arius has the answer. It's because only two people had a Wii U. That makes
Ah,
sense.
fair.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
solves it. It's because nobody had a Wii U, and so people didn't play For Glory. So yeah, no, that's right. Silly me. How could I forget? Um, let's see. We also have Kalos. Kalos is a common one on the stage list. We also had clips in the we also had clips in the Discord of Fox camping on Kalos, the platforms, where it was just from platform, jump up way high and side B. It was against Ganondorf, so it's obviously like this is a character with poor movement stats. But
Hmm.
the simple fact that you can camp vertically is pretty huge in Ultimate. It's like there are just some characters that just can't deal with it, you know?
Yeah.
Especially if you can do that moving horizontally quickly, which is something Fox has with side B. So, but at any rate, that niche camping scenario aside, what do you think about Kalos?
In general, I wouldn't mind taking Peach there.
Yeah,
Because the walls, while they prevent me from mixing up with up B as much, I still would appreciate having them rather than not. I feel like the blast zones favor me quite nicely because they're nice and wide, so I don't die as easily. Um, hmm.
There's also,
Platform camping.
there's also wall jumps for Fox. Although I don't know how
Yeah.
much use that gets.
In this matchup, I'd say it's fair because usually if you're getting edge guarded by Peach, you're not close enough to the stage to wall jump anyway.
Right.
But if you've managed to avoid that scenario, it's a nice little added mix up, which is not it's not unappreciated, I suppose.
Well, this is just theory crafting, but wouldn't you be able to go like super ultra low and then side B
Mm-hmm.
straight into the wall and then just wall jump and be able to recover like that?
Mm, in theory, but here's the thing: Fox has to fall a certain distance from side B before he can act. He can't side B into the wall and then immediately wall jump like we're talking Lucario up
No,
B,
yeah, I
you
get
know.
that. Yeah.
And because of that, there's like if you do it too low, there's a risk you could always just kill yourself.
Hmm.
Especially if you don't have your jump to act immediately after, because Firefox, if you do it too low, Fox goes like he goes down a little bit before he launches upwards. So there's always a slight chance you could kill yourself with that too if you immediately do it.
Yeah. I don't imagine you'd be that low though. I mean, Kalos is still pretty big. Like I feel like you could side B into the wall, but at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, you know what? Because it's a wall, you can just throw a turnip downwards and
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna hit that no problem. So maybe that's not a great idea. I was just thinking, just the wall jump,
Yeah.
maybe some kind of wall jump utility there.
Yeah. The more honestly, the more we think about it, the more I feel like Kalos's walls just detriment Fox
Yeah,
in the matchup.
because like you said, like it gets rid of some of those Firefox mix-ups,
Mm-hmm.
and
I
mix-ups
would
are
say
gold.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Mm,
when you said you would take Peach there, honestly, I don't really agree with that because like Peach does kill a little bit earlier than Fox, so it's like you know how like you main Fox, so you know he just doesn't kill that well, and going up against Peach, a character that can kill, sort of, especially when you're super light, going with Kalos, it feels like you're just putting yourself at a detriment. Like you won't really be able to get kills that easily, especially if like you're trying to fish for up smash or something
And we're talking
and
because of the blast
the
zones, right?
ceiling is just super high. Yeah, because the blast zones they're just like
Yeah,
super high and wide. It seems a lot. It seems like you're putting more work on yourself than to just like go into like a smaller stage.
I
I
kind of
don't
get that
know if I
feeling
feel
too.
like I actually don't know if I agree with that sentiment. That we would have like yeah, we would kill you a little bit later, realistically, but Peach isn't the heaviest character out there. She's also very like fairly light herself.
She
Yeah.
is
So
middleweight. Well, I say middleweight. She is 89 units, which is the heaviest
mm,
lightweight, and then you have like Diddy Kong, who is 90 units, which is the lightest midweight. So she's like
mm.
border of midweight.
Why is
Uh,
she lighter than a chimp? I can't believe this.
Why am
yeah,
I
no,
lighter
like
than Olimar?
looking at the weight list is pretty funny sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why is Villager heavier than Peach? He's got this giant little noggin.
That's all his weight.
It's
Just
all
a big head.
he's just top heavy. That's why his dash attack he just falls over.
Mm.
Right. This is Nair. It's so strong.
Uh, we were talking Kalos. So, do we have any other thoughts on Kalos though?
I feel like besides the walls, it's still a fairly decent stage for Fox. I feel the blast zones. The blast zones feel like they benefit us both in fair ways. Hmm.
Yeah, I feel like the main thing with that stage is the blast zones. But of
Yeah.
course, there's also the camping on the platforms. So
Hmm.
I think I did hear. I'm not sure if there are setups onto Kalos platforms because they're like higher for Fox.
Hmm.
But I feel like I did hear that he does get some benefit from them. I just can't remember what.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was still like down tilt or dash attack, but at like a slightly later percent.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. The only difference is with the Kalos platforms, you wouldn't be able to get the down air from a short hop. You or like full hop fastball. You'd have to like full hop it and immediately aim to land at the peak of your full hop or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah, which is a bit tricky.
Mm.
It's a little bit stricter, but you can still get the same extensions. And
Um.
there are certain matchups I would absolutely take to Kalos though. One of them being Snake.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
The
because of
platforms ruin his up smash at ledge.
yeah,
Like,
same thing on Yoshi Story.
mm-hmm. So
And then it's
it has its
also
niche uses.
I also personally like using those platforms to chase people off stage. So like someone like Snake who's trying to go up high, if he tries to go high and like far away from the stage, you can jump on the platform and just hit him with forward air and he dies because he's so close to the blast zone. So I think we've covered all of the stages. I think the only one we didn't talk about was Town and City, but I feel like Town and City is the type of stage where it's like Uh, ooh, have we frozen? What's going on here? You guys gotta let me know when you can hear me, because I don't know what just happened. Okay. Well, we're recording, so we definitely have me. Okay, let's see here. Stream died a little. Oh, there we go. Looks like we're back. There's Pluto. I can see Pluto stretching. Yeah, no, stream just had a hiccup there. That
Okay.
means I have Discord. I don't know if I have OBS. OBS is still saying 0.
Okay,
We're gonna give it 1 minute.
that's fine.
We're gonna give it 1 minute to recover. Worst case, Ontario. Oh, OBS reconnection successful. I think we are live again.
Great.
Yeah, we're live again. Okay. Yeah, no, just could have. I don't know why that happened. You know how it is. You both
Yeah.
stream, so yeah. No. At any rate, internet might be a bit unstable, which doesn't make any sense because I have the house to myself today, so there's not even anyone else on the internet. It's just shitty internet, I guess. Only stage we haven't talked about is town and city, but I feel like as far as that stage goes, I mean, people always say, "Oh, half the time it's FD because it's just flat." So it's like we've covered FD more or less. Um, I did mention that we had a clip in the JMU discussion of Fox getting a combo onto one of the platforms, but aside from that, how do you think? What do you think of FD? How are you feeling about those wacky platform placements?
I love Town and City personally.
Yeah,
There's almost not a single matchup I would ever object to taking anyone to Town and City for. The only one I would have a problem with it is Mithra.
right. Why Mithra specifically? Not entirely up on the DLC, many of the DLC matchups, just because like they're so new.
The only reason I have a problem with it is because Mithra has a slightly faster movement speed than Fox,
Really?
while having a very large disjoint. So she doesn't have any problems really carrying Fox off stage because she outranges most of the things Fox wants to try. But I would still not want to take her there because of the horizontal blast zones being so small that suddenly her edge guards go from being okay, now you're off stage and now I'll switch to Pyra and then edge guard to okay, now you're off stage and now you have to deal with Mithra potentially killing you.
Yeah. No, I
So
get that.
yeah,
Um,
I wouldn't want to deal with that. But
I like
beyond that change, I love it.
I like Town and City too. I like the platforms because like you got platforms way up here, you got the platform in the middle, it's moving around. It's a really unique
Hmm.
stage.
Yeah, and funny enough, the only like most people would say, oh, take Fox to town because high top blast zone, low side blast zone, you can kill him early, but he can't kill you. That's absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
Fox has no problems just going for back air because all of a sudden that move goes from oh it faked out a kill screen at 130 at ledge, it didn't actually kill, now to oh that move can kill at 110 now. Oh nice. So thanks for giving me a free -4 on shield option that can kill.
Right. Yeah, no, I think people do kind of underestimate the Fox back air. Like it's not necessarily as strong as Wolf's, right? But it's still a
Oh
really strong
absolutely.
back air.
Yeah, it can do the job,
Not to
especially on
mention like
town.
he has so many confirms into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's still the kind of move you should be afraid of.
Yeah.
At that, we've hit our 1 hour point, which is usually what we go for our podcast, and it just so happens, what a coincidence, our discussion lasted exactly 1 hour. Who could have seen that coming?
Let's go.
It's almost as if we wanted to make it an hour. That being said, do we have any other thoughts on the matchup? Like any other neat little tidbits that we want to cover? Anything of
Hmm.
interest?
I have a question. Yeah. What do you think the matchup is for Peach and Fox?
Hard even.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Absolute
that's what I
even.
thought too. Absolutely even.
It's
yeah,
just you both destroy each other as soon as you get the opening, and neutral is so back and forth where you both
mhm.
have many options and answers to those options from both sides.
Yeah, no, it's a
Hmm.
really tense neutral game, and it's just like it's literally the definition of even. It's just like it's like some Dragon Ball Z shit.
Mm-hmm.
I know that that exact question came up in the chat in Discord, and everyone was just like, even. It's even. It's so even. I think one person said it might be Peach favor. I think it was Blossom, and she said that because neutral is even, like we just said, but she can kind of destroy Fox off stage, and because of that, because she has that specific advantage, she argued that kind of puts it slightly in her favor because these characters both have really good options, keeping the opponent in the corner. Fox is obviously really good at juggling, and then that leads to a corner situation more often than not. But the simple fact that Peach has that edge guard is why Blossom was saying kind of Peach's favor. But personally, when it comes to matchups, like saying judging the matchup, I tend to kind of like ignore edge guarding for the most part because I feel like that's just such a wild card aspect of this game is offstage. So, but anyways, that was the justification for that.
Yeah, I feel like even with the edge guarding advantage, Peach is still going to get like I said, I'm gonna get those juggles. I'm gonna get as far as his true, which is still gonna be, at the very least, if I get you with something like say a dash attack option, it's gonna be like 1 or 2 up airs at the very least, which is still over 30%, give or take. And then I go straight into a ledge option where I still have like an advantage to get everything else. And then Fox will more often than not just react and continue resetting that situation over and over until eventually he can get a kill off of it by either conditioning an option from you, reacting or reading an option properly, or setting something up by with like say Nair on your roll or something, and then I can link that to an up smash. Or something like that.
Yeah, that's definitely like just the general Fox game plan too. Is like it's such a high damage, high octane kind of matchup, no matter who you're playing with against Fox. So yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that's kind of important that I feel sets this up to be an even matchup is the fact both characters, neither one really has that much range. Neither one has like a big sword or any kind of disjoint to speak of.
Except for Golf Club.
Yeah.
Also, Rainbow, her up air. Peach's up air is also a sword.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, have you seen my up air? It's kind of a sword too.
Once or twice.
Sorta. But I'd say because apart from a few select moves, neither one really has too much range to really speak of. You're both gonna want to try to work with the little minimal range you do. We're both gonna be in close quarters more often than not. And usually Peach would try to circumvent that kind of thing by having turnips and stuff, but Fox isn't gonna give you the chance to pull them.
Yeah, the only time you have to pull turnips against Fox is when he's off stage, basically.
Yeah.
So just another little aspect I think that would make this more of an even matchup than most.
Yeah, for sure. I think we've covered this matchup very well, both throughout the week and then just now as we did our podcast recap. So I think we've definitely made a good resource for people to refer to in the future, whether they're a Fox player or a Peach player. And for everybody listening live, I'm going to be putting this the VOD for this on YouTube. That moment where the stream cut out, you're going to be able to see that because that was recorded, but it wasn't streamed, and you're going to be able to see me like being like hitting buttons and stuff. And that's, I don't know, behind the scenes little peek. But that being said, I think we've reached a decent end to our podcast today. I have been your host, Shnoork. I've been joined by Floating Pluto and Gale McLeod. We have our crew battle tomorrow. Gale's going to be streaming that, and I'm going to be on with Gale, and we're going to be able to see exactly everything we've talked about today. We're going to be able to see all of that in practice. So if you want to learn the matchup, you can read up on the JMU, or you can just watch this podcast for an hour, and then you can watch that crew battle, and it's like you're going to know that Fox matchup. You're going to have it down pat.
Yeah.
Also, for any viewers who are not already don't already have the flare, but in the Peach Discord we have the podcast flare. If you sign up for that flare in Roll Change, you'll get pinged every time we have a podcast, and then you'll be able to watch it live every week. But also on YouTube, so you don't have to watch it live if you don't want to. But then you'll miss out on things like the matchmaking that we've had going on in chat for the past 20 minutes. It was I want to say it's like Celis and Stormy who have just been doing matchmaking, and they've just been talking in our stream chat for the past
Whoa,
long.
Saint Celis?
Yes.
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
Yep, Saint Celis.
Woo! I know her. She's a phenomenal Peach from a friend of mine's stream. I see her hang around all the time.
Yeah, no, they've signed up to our crew battles a couple times. I know there are definitely 1 or 2 occasions where I've been like, "Hey, you ready for this crew battle?" And then like 4 hours later, it's like, "Sorry, I fell asleep," which always happens. It's always someone, So
Yeah.
no, they're definitely around the Discord. You can probably get games with them or something. Hit them up in matchmaking or something. Yeah, no. I will tell you guys, if you guys want to keep playing, you can just move over to matchmaking in the Discord and you can keep chatting and stuff and doing your thing. But I think we're gonna end the podcast there. Um, I've already said all of our names, so that doesn't really matter.
Hmm.
At this point, it's just a ramble until we end.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna quit while I'm ahead, and I'm gonna say thank you for watching. Watch us again next week, and that'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah. And thanks again for making this VOD. It'll be a great resource both for peaches and for foxes.
Yeah, for sure. And on that note, we'll see you all next week.